Hey guys, it's Sheena here again. Yeah, sorry I didn't put a video up last week because, well, it's finals week, well, almost finals week, and I've just been busy. But, yeah, well, I'm back. So, let's talk about a series of unfortunate events, because it's my favorite series ever. For those who don't know, series of unfortunate events written by Lemony Snicket. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's depressing as hell, but it's more dark humor than anything. And the point is, I mean, it's like the series that everyone read in, middle school, maybe elementary school. But what's interesting about that being, like, and a lot of people don't really consider it to be for, older audiences, which is stupid. And I'm gonna get into that. But anyway, I mean, I just wanted to talk about how amazing the series is. I mean, first of all, there's the sub-story underlining the main story. And people tend to forget about it or just overlook it completely because they're so focused on Violet, Klaus, and Sunny, which is fine. But I mean, if you actually go back and reread the books and pay attention to what Lemony Snicket is rambling about most of the time, like you get a pretty interesting story. And basically, the whole thing is that Lemony is telling his own story as he tells the Baudelaire story, and it comes in bits and pieces, so it's kind of hard to make the connections, but when you do, there are so many of them. It's amazing. For example, the Beatrice connection. I mean, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I mean, I would assume that if anybody's watching this, you have read all 13 books. Anyway, and it took me a few rereads before I realized this, but Lemony's Beatrice is Beatrice Baudelaire, aka the Baudelaire's mother. So once you make that connection, it's just like mind blown. At least that was my reaction. I don't know about anybody else, but anyway. The other thing is all the hidden details that people also tend to overlook, and the biggest one is probably the secret code that is used in the 12th book, and if you don't know it's there, you're not going to make the connection, obviously, but if you know it's there and you know how to decode it, it's awesome. And I have decoded it several times, and I had to use the unauthorized autobiography as sort of a guideline to help. But if anyone wants to find it, it's on page 67 of The Penultimate Peril if you have the hardback copy. And if you look online, just like on Wikipedia, you can find the Sybald code or something about Sybald code and use that to decode it, and it's amazing once you finally find it. And there are little things like this all the time. Nothing as big as like a secret code, obviously for most of them, but still. And there's like all the literary references that Lemony Snicket puts in here, and all the things that kids tend to overlook, but adults see differently. And we talked about this in my creative writing class my senior year. One of the examples is in the second book, when Olaf is running his knife gently over Violet's knee. See, I totally missed that when I was younger, and now I can't help but notice how creepy it is. And it, gives you a whole new perspective on Count Olaf and the villains in general. And, it's kind of shocking that Lemony Snicket even actually managed to put something like that into a children's book. Anywho. And something that I'm interested in, that, I mean, it's not really related to the rest of this whole video, but is the possibility of the Violet Snicket theory, which it's basically the theory that Violet is Lemony's daughter. Personally, I believe in it. I've written a fanfic about it. It would explain why he's tracking down the orphans, at least to me, and it's my own personal little headcanon. I mean, depending on who you ask, some people believe in it, some people don't. Most people don't even actually know it exists. But that's one thing I like about this series, that it inspires so many interesting theories. That's one of them. And lastly, I mean, I talked about this kind of at the beginning, is this idea that the books are just for kids, because that's complete bullshit. The books are technically targeted towards a younger audience, but Lemony Snicket is brilliant and managed to add so many layers and hidden details. So when you read them when you're older, you get a whole new perspective on the series, and it's amazing. And I personally think it's better to read them when you're older, because you miss so many things when you're younger. And I've poured over the series at least 5 times, and I'm still finding stuff, so that tells you something, because there's so much detail, so much care taken to make everything match up perfectly, make everything fall into place, and I love that. So I think that everyone should either read the series or reread the series if it's been like a while since you've read them, or if you stopped after a certain point, you should pick back up and you should get back to reading it because it's amazing. So that's it. See ya. Subscribe.